state, one that is defined not by invisibility, but by the absence of genuine recognition. She moves through the world seen, but not understood, her presence acknowledged, yet her essence ignored. It is not the lack of companionship that defines her plight, but the reduction of her being into roles, expectations, and projections placed upon her by others. She becomes a vessel for what others need her to be: a caretaker, a temptress, a muse but never the complex, multifaceted person she truly is. To be unloved is not simply to lack affection, but to live in a state of disconnection, where the self is perpetually misinterpreted or disregarded. In this state, every interaction feels hollow, every compliment a reflection of someone else's desires rather than an appreciation of who she is. Her laughter may fill the room, but its depth goes unnoticed. Her silence may speak volumes, but no one listens closely enough to hear. This is the peculiar cruelty of her condition. She exists fully in the world, yet no one truly sees her. This dynamic is not merely personal, but reflects a broader societal tendency to simplify and categorize individuals, particularly women. The unloved woman becomes a projection screen for collective fantasies and fears. She is molded into an archetype, a symbol of desire, rejection, or pity, rather than being allowed to occupy her unique and authentic identity. In this way, her unlovedness is not a failure of her character, but a failure of those around her to engage with her humanity. Her experience reveals the fragile, transactional nature of much of what we call love. Often, love is offered conditionally based on utility, beauty, or compliance with societal norms. This conditional love is brittle, easily withdrawn when expectations are not met, leaving the recipient to question their worth. For the unloved woman, this dynamic is ever present. She becomes a reflection of the limits others place on their capacity to love, a stark reminder of how often love is wielded as a tool of control rather than as an expression of freedom and connection. In her unloved state, she confronts an existential question: does her worth depend on the validation of others, or can it exist independently? The world around her often suggests the former, reinforcing the idea that to be seen and valued is contingent upon meeting external standards. Yet this narrative only deepens her isolation, for it forces her into a perpetual striving that moves her further away from herself. This absence of recognition forces her to live in a liminal space where she is caught between what others expect her to be and who she truly is. It is a space filled with tension, longing, and quiet resilience. In this space, the unloved woman learns to navigate the delicate boundary between seeking connection and preserving her integrity. She exists as a reminder of the profound human need to be seen, not for what one provides, but for who one is, and the devastating impact when that need goes unmet. Love, at its core, is not an act or an achievement, but a profound recognition. It is the meeting of two beings in their truest forms, free from pretense or expectation. Love does not reside in gestures, rituals, or declarations. These are but the shadows of its essence. Instead, love emerges in the quiet understanding, the subtle acknowledgement that beneath the layers of identity and ego, there exists a shared humanity, a bond unspoken yet undeniable. This recognition is not bound by conditions or circumstances. It does not demand that one be more beautiful, more accomplished, or more agreeable. Love simply sees and accepts. It does not seek to possess or alter, for true love is never a transaction. It neither measures its worth in acts of reciprocity nor diminishes itself when unreturned. Instead, love exists as an infinite wellspring, a force that flows freely from one who is open enough to embody it. Yet, in our modern understanding, love is often mistaken for something external, something to be found, won, or maintained. It is treated as a commodity subject to negotiation and exchange. But this misunderstanding creates a profound emptiness. When love is tied to expectation, it becomes fragile, easily broken by disappointment or unmet demands. It ceases to be recognition and transforms into a projection, one person's ideal imposed upon another. This distortion distances us from the true essence of love, for the more we try to grasp it, the more elusive it becomes. True love requires presence, a complete openness to the moment and to the other. To love is to truly see not with the eyes, but with the heart, stripping away judgment, fear, and the need for control. In this space of seeing, love becomes a mirror, reflecting back not only the beauty of the other, but also the unspoken truths of ourselves. It is a transformative force, not because it changes who we are, but because it reveals us to ourselves in ways we might never have dared to see. This essence of love is unconditional. yet it often feels fragile because of our own limitations. To love unconditionally is to let go of the need for assurance, to embrace vulnerability without guarantees. It is an act of courage, for to truly love is to risk loss, rejection, and pain. Yet it is within this risk that love finds its power. By embracing the uncertainty of love, we come to understand that its strength lies not in permanence, but in authenticity. The essence of love also defies possession. It cannot be held or owned, it can only be shared. To love someone is not to claim them as yours, but to honor their freedom, their individuality, and their journey. Love is not diminished by distance or time because it is not confined to the physical world. Its true measure lies in the depth of connection, the profound recognition that transcends form and rests in the boundless space of being. In solitude, we confront the essence of who we are. Removed from the noise and distractions of the outside world, we are left with nothing but ourselves, our thoughts, fears, hopes, and contradictions. This solitude, though often feared, is a gateway to self-discovery, a process by which we uncover the layers of our being and begin to understand our true nature. It is not a punishment or a state of lacking, but a rare opportunity to meet ourselves fully. When one feels unloved or unrecognized, solitude can initially appear as a burden. It may seem like the confirmation of rejection, a space filled with echoes of longing and unfulfilled desires. Yet within this quiet space lies the potential for profound transformation. Solitude forces us to abandon the masks we wear for others, the roles we assume, and the expectations we strive to meet. In the absence of an audience, we are faced with the raw truth of who we are, without pretense or performance. This process is not always comfortable. The stillness of solitude can feel overwhelming, as it reveals parts of ourselves we may have spent years avoiding. Old wounds, fears of inadequacy, and feelings of unworthiness rise to the surface, demanding our attention. But this discomfort is not the enemy, it is a teacher. It is in confronting these aspects of ourselves that we begin to see them for what they truly are, stories we have internalized, not immutable truths. Through solitude, we discover that our worth is not contingent upon external validation. In the absence of others' approval or affection, we are left to ask, who am I without these things? What remains when the world stops applauding? The answers to these questions often surprise us. We find that beneath the layers of self-doubt and societal conditioning lies a core of resilience, creativity, and boundless love. We begin to see ourselves not as incomplete or inadequate, but as whole and enough in our very existence. In this journey inward, we also begin to recognize the source of love within us. Love, we discover, is not something we must earn or seek from others. It is a quality of being that flows naturally when we allow it. Solitude teaches us that the love we long for is not outside us, but a part of us, waiting patiently to be realized. This realization does not mean we no longer desire connection, rather. It means that our connections become richer, freer, and more authentic, because they are no longer driven by need or fear. Solitude, then, is not an absence, but a fullness of space where we reconnect with the self that is too often drowned out by the demands of the external world. It is an act of courage and self-compassion, a journey that leads us to the profound understanding that we are our own source of wholeness. In this space we find not loneliness but liberation, a quiet strength that transforms how we see ourselves and how